Heck yeah, kid. Heck yeah. That's how we're starting it on a Friday. That's my freaking man right there. Welcome in, everybody. Stadium Pulse, Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Getting your Friday morning started hot in the correct Christmas spirit, because there's a good Christmas spirit and there's a bad one, and that's the bad one. Shouts to that kid. That's a dog right there. That's the best video on the internet going right now, so I had to start with that. First of all, if we're going to do the old Christmas recital, which, look, unless you're the parent, what's worse? The Christmas recital for the kid who's not your child or your nephew, or the middle school basketball game of any kind? That's worse?
Dude, they can't score.
There's going to be more turnovers than shots put up.
Like what?
So I think it's a good debate. But you're going to a recital and it's not your kid or your nephew.
Then I'm not going.
Well, I love this guy. We're not singing Rocky Top. Why are we singing Rocky Top at the Christmas recital? When did that become a Christmas song? Unless you're the freaking Grinch. Let's freaking go, man. I mean, what are we doing? Shouts to that kid, man. That will be my son. We ain't singing that crap. Just freaking arms folded like he's already 60. John in the chat says, I've laughed way too hard at a Silent Night, a nephew Christmas. Oh, dude, you can't laugh at that. Little Neff is up there singing Oh Holy Night or Silent Night, and you're busting out laughing. It's not good.
The only thing I've ever laughed at a Christmas, I have a cousin, and this cousin of mine, Jason, when he was a kid, he would just cuss out his parents.
Oh no!
And after the Christmas concert, looks at his dad and flips him. At 4 years old, that was probably the best day of my life. I probably peaked back then. I was like 13.
Was that because he had to participate in the...
No.
Or it was just cuz?
I think he just had pure hatred in his heart. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Just pure hatred. Yeah.
John says he can at least laugh at 15. No, dude. Once you get to the plus 10, 10 plus double-digit turnovers, before we get to 3 or 4 points in the basketball game, I'm out.
There becomes a point where you're like, they're not even dribbling.
No, there's no dribbling.
Yeah.
Welcome in. Stadium Pulse, talking hour of college football every Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Got a lot to get to today. It's a fun time of year, obviously, with Christmas next week. The playoff starts tonight, so we will have our playoff predictions. We're going to go the games tonight, quick rundown, and I'm going to give you my full bracket. And can't wait to pencil those games in and see how many are right. We will see. ACC, they're almost trying to be dumb at this point. They have a schedule release and a schedule announcement from that conference, and that's really good. An SEC coordinator switching jobs, and that could pay huge dividends in the future. I'll tell you about that. But first, look, obviously, like the last 6 weeks or so, it's all been a head coaching carousel, right? In college football, from Lane to you name it, right? And who's going to go where, and a lot of that's not even complete if you talk about the University of Michigan and all that. I mean, Penn State was the headliner here for a long time, so we had the whole head coaching carousel for about 6 weeks. Well, now with the transfer portal set to open up in about a week or two, now it's becoming the quarterback carousel. Now the quarterbacks take the headlines and they take over as the top story in college football. So we've had that started with DJ Lagway at the start of this week. Then went to Dylan Raiola, and Josh Hoover is now in the transfer portal, one of the top quarterbacks in the Big 12 at TCU. So you're about to see more and more and more of these guys, and there's a lot more than just those three. Those are probably your three headliners, at least as far as this show is concerned. Y'all all know we cover 5 schools primarily on this show: Florida, Florida State, UCF, Georgia, and Miami. So let's start then with DJ Lagway. So DJ Lagway decides to enter the transfer portal, and I think at first thought this was more of a Sumrall and Buster Faulkner decision, and not a DJ Lagway decision. And I think that was more or less confirmed. I mean, we'll never fully know, because there's probably a balance of these things. And if DJ Lagway wanted to go at all, I'm sure he wasn't just told 100%, you can't stay here. I don't think that happened. But then it kind of was confirmed with reports from guys on the beat out there in Gainesville that, Sumrall met with Lagway, and it didn't go that well. It just didn't go that well. So what you probably have here is Sumrall saying, hey, you can stay, but you're going to take a massive pay cut, and we're going to bring at least one guy in to compete for the starting job. It is not yours by any means. You can compete for it, but there's no guarantee. That, along with a massive probably pay cut, is why Lagway is in the portal, and he becomes a really interesting case study in this new era, because this is a guy that loved the University of Florida. Like, no doubt, had a better opportunity. Heck, could have probably gone anywhere in college football out of high school, and chose Florida. Yes, because they paid up, and they did pay up, but they were coming off how many wins before he got there? It was not a successful season by any means before he got there. He could have gone anywhere else that he wanted to. So I think this is a guy that loved the money, but it's also he loved the university, that's clear, and he loved Billy Napier. So now that he's in the portal, a couple of questions. Did Florida want him at all? I don't know. I would say probably not. And this kind of gets to, should Florida fans be happy that he's gone? And maybe happy is not the right word, but maybe relieved or at least encouraged that it's going to be somebody else next year. And obviously, if you've watched this show at all, you know that I think that answer should be 100%. You should be happy that DJ Lagway is gone. There is no reason why he should have been back next year, unless it was, again, massive pay cut and you're going to compete for the starting job. There should have been no chance in the world that it was Lagway's job, full stop, going into next year. With that being said, I think Florida fans are kind of knew that this was going to happen. Some were not thrilled, I don't think. And a lot of that, I think, is because you just don't know who the next guy's going to be. I think if you knew already who that next quarterback is or was going to be, then the whole fan base would be a lot more kind of dialed in at this point. But now, before we get to who Florida should want, let's talk about where Lagway should go and where he fits. What type of conference or what type of team would be beneficial to him? I don't think there's any way that an SEC team signs up for Lagway as their penciled-in starter in the portal right now. And I'm not talking about the top-tier teams. I'm talking about the bottom-tier teams at the bottom of the SEC, your Kentuckys, your Mississippi States, stuff like that. I don't think they should pay up for him. I really don't. I think any other SEC school is obviously out of the question. I think what we should be looking at here is the middle of the Big 12, and obviously Baylor is one of those first schools that comes to mind because his dad went there. Baylor was the first team to offer him, or the first school to offer him out of high school. So that's certainly a possibility. I could see middle tier, Big 12, middle of the tiers in the ACC. I could even see, look, I think there's a small chance, very small, but there is a chance, it's on the list, that he could reunite with Billy Napier at JMU. Again, maybe 5% chance. I guess if you're Lagway, why would you really want to follow him? Considering, I guess, the narrative is that Napier didn't develop him, where I would say he was developed and he just didn't get better, and the injuries were a huge part of that. So whether he would want to follow him or not, I think you would, because it's a guaranteed starting spot. It's an up-and-coming program. You have a chance to, compete, to potentially go to the playoff, just like they're in right now, and you get familiarity with Napier. That's, you get security. And in an age where there's almost zero security in the transfer portal, any security is worth something. So JMU has to be on the list. That's what I think. But if we go back to Big 12, potentially ACC, potentially, well, when it comes to mind, when you're trying to think of middle of the tier right now, ACC programs that have some allotment of money and do not have a quarterback as of right now going into next year, well, at the top of the list there is Florida State. And so, Zach, we're going to bring you in here. And look, there's no report about this. This is strictly a hypothetical situation. Would you want DJ Lagway as your quarterback at Florida State?
Man, Jason, I thought about this since the second he hit the transfer portal in my group chat. My group chat has 4 different teams represented in it.
Okay.
We've got Florida State. Actually, sorry, 3. Florida. You didn't know 4. Florida State, Florida, Georgia, and Auburn. Shout out Barton.
Okay.
Okay. The second he hit the portal, I send in the group chat. I can find the text to put on the show next week. DJ Lagway is going to go to Florida State. You just had I hope it's. Here's the thing: is I don't know if I hope it's true or not. I think off a pure talent standpoint, you take skill out of the game. You take, sorry. You take the learning aspect out of the game. You take the playbook out. You take pure talent. I think DJ Lagway is more talented than Thomas Castellanos.
Okay.
At the quarterback position.
Sure.
Okay. The question that I have is Gus Malzahn, is Mike Norvell, are they two offensive-minded geniuses? Are they good enough to develop Lagway into a quarterback that can take Florida State to at least talk about making the playoff? Because the last 2 years we haven't even been bowl eligible.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
do you have that in him? So I've danced around your question enough and dressed it, but asked me 3 years ago, I would have hated it. Right? I would have loved it because Florida's going to lose him. I love that. Like, that part of me loves it. But I'm just like, I don't know what to think, Jason. I think that he could be good. But at the same time, I've clowned Florida fans the last 2 years by putting their hope in Lagway.
You have. Because
he hasn't been developed. However, we have seen him with Sunbelt Billy Escapier.
Yeah, I mean.
So I do not know what to make of him. I think this reminds me a lot. I know this is a college football show. This situation reminds me a lot of Trevor Lawrence when he came to the Jaguars.
Oh, no.
Which is, he had so much talent coming out of college that everyone expected him to be at this ceiling or expected him to grow at this rate. And then he was under the tutelage of Urban Meyer.
Yep.
Doug Marrone. Doug Peterson.
Not a baby.
Yeah. No coaching. I don't think DJ's going to get that at Florida State either.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't. I mean, look.
So, I think Texas Tech might be a better fit.
Oh my gosh, there's no way he goes to Texas Tech. If guys like Darian Mintz or Rez Claff or Hoover are available, Raiola, those guys I think are much higher above the production level, the whatever available QB power rankings than Lagway is right now.
Let me ask you this, Jason. What do you think of DJ Lagway going to Florida State as someone who's not a fan of either team?
Well, no, I don't think DJ Lagway is very good, and I've, again, every single week I've gone on here and said that. Could he be? I mean, does he have a lot of talent? Yeah. Does he have a chance to? I mean, I don't think Gus Malzahn is the type of guy to develop a guy like Lagway at all. I don't see that being a fit whatsoever. I think Lagway needs somebody who's a pure progression and pocket kind of coach and teacher, and that's not Malzahn at all. Lagway doesn't need to be back there freaking triple option and anything and QB draw and QB read. Like, no, leave that at the door for Lagway. So would he be an upgrade over Castellanos? I think as of right now, it'd be about even. I mean, I know that, they just played each other about a month ago, but at this point right now, there aren't necessarily, I don't think Florida State can necessarily get a better quarterback, but I think they could get a better fit, which would mean it's a better quarterback, if that makes sense. So it's very interesting. The two closest schools to where we are right now, neither of them have a quarterback going into next year. As of right now, again, that'll all get ironed out. Plenty of time with the transfer portal opening up in just a little bit, just a couple of weeks away from that. But that brings us to this. Who will be the Gators' next quarterback? Okay. So obviously, Tramel Jones is on the roster, and he got a limited playing time this season and looked great. That was also because anything from Tramel to Gator Nation would have been awesome because it was so bad from Lagway. Okay, so keep that in mind. But Tramel was great. Obviously, he's from right around the corner here. We watched him play. I watched him play quite a bit in high school. He's an incredible talent. That being said, if you're Florida and you've got dollars to spend, you're going to go get somebody that either, one, has had actual production at the college level, or two, has a lot of familiarity with the offensive coordinator that you just brought in. So that brings us to two options, I think. Two camps. It's either Aaron Philo, coming from Georgia Tech, and coming with Buster Faulkner, or it's the list of guys with actual production. It's your Josh Hoovers, your Resclaff, your Mensahs. Okay? Why could it be Philo? Obviously, this one makes a ton of sense. Buster Faulkner just came over. And again, if you don't believe in Philo as a Gator fan or Buster Faulkner, and you think Faulkner's just a quarterback read type of guy, needs a dual threat guy, I think that's a little bit lazy. I mean, yes, he did it with Haynes King, but Haynes King is not Buster Faulkner's offensive coordinator. I told you the day, and it wasn't just me, it was pretty much everybody who has familiarity with Buster. Obviously, he spent 3 years at the University of Georgia. He's not a guy who's penciled in, this is how he coaches, and he can't deviate. No, he takes his scheme and wraps it around whatever quarterback is the best one available. That cannot be more exemplified than when Haynes King was out for a couple of games this past year, and it was against Gardner Webb, and it was against they were against terrible schools. But Georgia Tech throws Aaron Philo in there, the backup, and he throws for freaking 300 yards and sets the passing record at Georgia Tech for a single game. So don't tell me that just because Buster Faulkner is your OC that you're going to be a quarterback run heavy and you're not going to be able to throw the football down the field. That's who Philo is. He wants to throw the football down the field. And again, this is very limited action. I'm not going to claim that I know a ton about this guy coming out of high school, but that's the book on him, and that's what we saw in limited action from him in spot starts for Georgia Tech. Look, what did you see if you went back and watched those highlights, which if you're a Florida fan, you should, because that could very well be your quarterback. I don't know if there's a ton of arm strength there, but it's a guy who can definitely layer the football, likes to take deep shots, and is going to put some air under it. Now, these balls that were getting completed for 50 yards against Gardner-Webb, are they probably picked if they're the exact same type of pass against an SEC school? Probably. But I don't think you can compare 1-to-1 because he's probably throwing that ball knowing that his receiver is much better than the opposing DB. He probably wouldn't throw that ball against an SEC opponent. Running back-wise, athleticism-wise, Philo is athletic. I think he's just about as good as a runner as DJ Lagway was. I think you're going to mix it in every once in a while. Now, Lagway was definitely harder to bring down, harder to tackle than Philo will be. And I'm not claiming that Philo is shifty by any means, but you're probably going to get about the same from them yards-wise, average-wise, I would guess, in the run game. It's a mix it in here and there, and that's about it. Okay, so that's your one camp is Philo, coming from Georgia Tech. Then you have Mensah. Okay, why does that make sense? He just came from Duke, but before that, he was probably already the most highly coveted quarterback in the portal because he came from Tulane with Sumrall. So Sumrall, could he reunite with Mensah? Now, that's going to cost you big time. I would be shocked if that's less than $2 million a year for a guy like him. Obviously, it was an 8-5 Duke team that we just watched win the ACC championship, and those 5 losses weren't really on the quarterback. Mensah played really good, and he honestly looks like a guy who could be an NFL prospect who was just on a regular Duke team and didn't have a ton of help around him. So that would, for me, that would be one on the list, is Darian Mensah. 2 right behind him is Josh Hoover, who just hit the portal, I believe, yesterday. That guy's the definition of a gunslinger. Really fun to watch. There's no ties there by any means, but if you got the money, I'm sure he would come to the SEC. I'd be shocked if he didn't want to. And then third, in the experienced quarterback having actual production at the college level list, is Jake Resclaff. Obviously, he's quarterback at Tulane. We'll be able to watch him again against Ole Miss tomorrow. Came from BYU. And had the situation there, goes to Tulane, obviously is with Sumrall right now, so he very well could enter the portal, but there's no reason for him to now when he's got a game tomorrow. Much different for portal guys if you're actually playing on a team that's in the playoff. So don't be surprised if Sunday, after Ole Miss beats Tulane by 30 points, if the notification Resclaff intends to enter the portal comes out. So that would be Sunday. So I think those are kind of 4 options right now for Florida. And those are, again, those experienced guys from Hoover, Mensah, Resclaff. I believe those are going to be your top 3 guys on the market other than Dylan Raiola. And I can't see Dylan Raiola coming to Florida. I mean, it just doesn't match. I mean, I guess that he would have the exact same odds or exact same whatever as Hoover. They both have 0 ties. But if I'm Florida, forget Raiola and give me a real ball player like Hoover is 100% of the time. Raiola, obviously, he's going to be the biggest name out there, most likely, other than Lagway. He's got Texas Tech, Big 12 written all over him, staying in that area of the country. I'd be shocked if he goes anywhere else. Other than that, also you had, I believe, Trinidad Chambliss saying that he intends to enter because he got 1 more year. If that's the case, go ahead and pencil him in as the starter at LSU. No doubt about it. Like, there's literally, it's 100% at this point if all that checks out. So that's your quarterback stuff. And then for at the running back position, really quick, obviously some rumors are starting to move that Jaden Baugh could be transferring. It could be entering the portal. And obviously he was the only reason to watch Florida for the last month of the season, other than the defense. Offensively, once Dallas Wilson wasn't playing, your only reason was watching Jaden Baugh. Very well could be he's the top 10 running back, shoe-in for that right now in college football. Next year could very well be top 3. So I'm sure that Sumrall will do everything in his power to keep a guy like Jaden Baugh. I believe the report is that they're going to meet next week, presumably after Tulane gets knocked out of here. If you got to pay up. You got to pay up. But obviously, Texas, I think, would be involved in this, and the running back coach from Florida is now going to Texas, so that's the tie there. That would make the most sense, and that would be a big fill for Texas, considering they did not run the ball well really at all this year. Between Wisner, between C.J. Baxter, they really couldn't get it going. But the one school that I think should go all in on a guy like Jaden Baugh is 100% the Alabama Crimson Tide. Since when in our lifetime have we ever seen an Alabama run game this poor? -3 yards in the SEC championship game against Georgia. You know how bad that is for the University of Alabama. And let's set the record straight. This isn't just a this year thing. In the 2010s, y'all know, every single year it was a new first rounder. From Yeldon to Jacobs to Derrick Henry. I mean, yeah, Damian Harris. They literally had 10 of them, seemed like. One after another.
I vividly remember sitting on my parents' couch in like the 2010s. And I'm like, is Alabama just always going to be good? And Mom goes, well, every team has its ebbs and flows. Alabama won't be good for much longer. They're still good.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like it's unbelievable. Like it's unreal. But I have never seen a Crimson Tide run game as bad as it was.
It's really bad. It's
really
the worst. It's worse than the SEC. And again, Saban's last year, they didn't run it well at all. DeBoer's first year, last year, they didn't run it well at all. And this year, it's worse. So that's 3 straight years you don't really have a guy at Alabama. That shouldn't happen. And you could very well make an argument that they're a running back away from being the best team in the country.
Yes.
Why do you think Ty Simpson is up and down, up and down, up and down? Sometimes he looks like the best quarterback in the country, and sometimes he looks like he doesn't know what he's looking at. Well, when 95% of your offense has to be predicated through the air, and you know you're not going to get anything through the run game, and the defense knows exactly what you're doing, and play action is just nullified within 3 minutes of the first quarter, you're probably going to have some ebbs and flows. So if I'm Alabama right now, if I'm DeBoer, blank check for a guy like Jaden Baugh. Blank check. He's got to be going to Tuscaloosa if I'm them, and then try and bring back Ty Simpson, and then go into 2026 knowing that you probably have the best running back in college football. To me, that's got to be the answer here for Alabama, because they can't do this again. Their fan base is going to flip if we go into year 4 straight years of Alabama not being able to run the rock. I mean, what in the world? It's freaking Alabama. Imagine if Georgia didn't run the ball well last year. That was like the first year in 15 years, and the fan base wanted Mike Bobo's head on a platter. 1 year of not being able to run the football effectively. I think Georgia was 80th in rushing in college football last year. You better be top 15 every single year if you're Georgia, if you're Alabama, if you're Crimson Tide, go get Jaden Baugh. All right, real quick before we take a break. The ACC, just egg on the face. Egg on the face. Zach, did you see what they did with their conference schedule?
No, I did not see what they did with their conference. I saw Florida State's, but I didn't see what they did with the conference.
So the ACC has a wise idea. The ACC says, look, we're behind in everything.
Everything.
Okay? Well, the SEC is going to 9 conference games because the SEC wants to catch up with Big Ten because they want to be on an even playing field. That would set up the future for Super League and all this stuff, right? So the ACC says, hey, we'll join. But there's only one problem. The ACC says, well, we have 17 teams. That's an odd number. So guess what we're going to do, Zach? 12 of our teams are going to play 9 conference games. Then 5 others? They'll play 8. FSU's got 8 conference games next year, as does Clemson. 12 other schools, y'all got 9. So what in the world are we going to do when freaking one school is 8-0
SMU
and another school is 8-1 with better wins? What are we doing? It doesn't even matter how easy or difficult that decision will hypothetically be when the time comes, you can't do that, man. Like, this is what are we doing? 8 and 9? Here's what you do. Allow me. You go up to, who's the worst team in the ACC, Zach?
Florida State.
Florida State, sorry, you're out. You're out. You've sucked, and you've been a terrible representative of our conference, and we got to get to an odd number, or an even number, excuse me.
Please get us out of the ACC.
So we're going to, no, they can't do that. Hey, but you know what would be conveniently a win? It's right there in front of our faces. Hey, Notre Dame, get your heads out of your tails, join a dadgum conference, help out the ACC, get them to an even number so we can actually play actual football, have an actual schedule, and you can be in an actual conference where you can actually go to the playoff.
Well, then they could negotiate with the ACC saying, hey, if we get 8 wins this year, we automatically get a conference championship bid. That's what they can do at the ACC.
What a freaking joke, man. Like, could you imagine, place yourself in that meeting.
Jason, I hate the ACC.
Half the schools, or 3/4 of the schools, are going to play 9 games. And then these 5, y'all got 8. Let's take a break. When we come back, let's get the bracket up. We're going to get the bracket. We're going to get 1 through all the games. Give you a preview of tonight's game. That'll be a lot of fun. Bama versus Oklahoma. You talk about not being able to run the football. Oh, boy. Bama's in for a treat tonight. And I've got another, like I told you, we're going to have I'm going to get to Georgia as well. I'm going to get to Georgia. We'll get to Miami. What Carson Beck are we going to get this year? What Carson Beck are we going to see tomorrow night? Do you know? Because I certainly don't. And then we got a coordinator who's switching roles, switching jobs, and is going to pay big dividends in the SEC. We'll be right back on Stadium Pulse, Action Sports Jax, 24/7 Network.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models, or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick GMC. We are professional grade.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
It's one of the hot spots in the area.
Welcome you to String Sports Brewery out at the beach. Big crowd on hand tonight. The fans are here.
And now, the newest hot spot at the beach is open. String Sports Brewery in Jax Beach has opened its doors with rave reviews.
We're going to be fans forever.
Cozy up to the bar. Grab a seat in the sports-themed restaurant, or grab a seat outside and feel that breeze coming off the beach as the weather warms. just like the original location in Springfield. Try the popular beer menu and come for lunch or dinner too, because the food is fantastic.
We got a special guest in the house. He's happy. He's feeling good. He's Trayvon Walker.
It's where we hosted Jags Report Live in the football season, and the String Sports Brewery staff can't wait to host you. Hey, welcome back here to String Sports Brewery. And if you haven't checked out the new location in Jax Beach, you got to do it. String Sports Brewery, now with 2 locations in Springfield and now open in Jax Beach on Penman Road.
Hi, I'm Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville. Whether you're looking for a side-by-side, ATV, motorcycle, or scooter, Honda has what you need.
The Honda Talon. Ultimate performance meets family-friendly fun. Prices starting at $363 a month. Or the sporty Honda CBR 650 starting at an affordable $204 a month.
Stop by and choose your adventure from a full line of Honda products. Only at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard. Family owned and operated since 1983.
Hello, I'm Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Since 2003, our firm has fought exclusively for the rights of men in family law. Divorce, modification of child support, alimony, custody, and more, all for men. A father is vitally important to a child's life, and being a man is not a reason to pay more in child support or alimony. I'm a single father. I get it. If you have a divorce or other family law issue, contact Kenny Lay & Associates at divorcemenonly.com.
CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing is taking their 75-plus years of expertise and expanding to CGC Home Services. Water treatment and plumbing is still a big part of what they do, and now they can do even more for you. Home services like kitchen and bathroom remodeling, showers, sinks, faucets, toilet repair, backflow testing, and the list keeps going. Find all they can do at cgchomeservices.com or give them a call, 904-298-7052. It's a new look and a new name with the same expertise. They've been serving homes like yours since 1946. CGC Home Services, right here in Jacksonville off St. John's Bluff Road, 904-298-7052. And visit cgchomeservices.com. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Here we go. 20 minutes to go here on Stadium Pulse. College football talk here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Appreciate y'all hopping in with us today as we break down the transfer portal, Florida State, all that good stuff. And now we get to the bracket. Real quick before we do, Killer Tofu in the chat. Love this. This is the guy. Always in the chat. Says the ACC annoys the heck out of me. Hey, we're right there with you. Hope you're having a good Friday, man. All right. Most pressure on any head coach in the playoffs, Zach? Who's got the most pressure on him? So we'll start. Give me this. Give me for the first round and give me overall, because I think it's 2 different situations. So real quick, while you think about it, obviously I think DeBoer has the most pressure on him in the first round. If a guy like Golding misses or somehow collapses and loses to Lane, it's really bad. It's really bad. At the same time, it's going to get excused, okay? If Mike Elko loses to Miami, I think it'll suck. It's not. I don't think it's a pressure. It's not pressure. Cristobal, same thing, okay? I don't think anybody outside of Miami expects to win that football game. Obviously, Oregon, Dan Lanning, you cannot, in under any circumstances, lose to JMU.
Listen, I think it's. I'm going to stop you right there, Jason. It's Dan Lanning.
Okay.
It's Dan Lanning. Last year, talked so much crap all year, plays Ohio State and gets wiped.
He did. Yeah.
Wiped, bro. It wasn't even that win in the regular season. All the trash he talked, all the things that came after that win with the slide that Will Howard did, that just screwed the game, which Ohio State lost that game in the regular season. Oregon did not win. Okay? Then in the playoff, Jeremiah Smith and Will Howard just torch the piss out of Oregon.
Yeah.
I think Oregon has the most pressure to perform this year. I think Dan Lanning has the most pressure in the college football playoff this year.
Yeah, I don't mind that answer at all. I think it very well might be Dan Lanning or Kalen DeBoer, one of the two.
One of the two.
It's not Ryan Day. It's not Kirby Smart. It's not Cignetti. okay?
No.
And I'm not going to play they should just be happy to be there. Absolutely not. You have not won anything yet, and Indiana fans are not satisfied, and they shouldn't be, like rightfully so. At the same time, the expectation is not for them to win a national title. I just don't think that, and I don't think it is for Texas Tech either. So Oregon, I think it's landing. The expectation is you got to get to the title game, and then flip a coin.
Here we go. This is what I find a little unfortunate about the college football playoff, which I wish it had a little bit more structure going into it.
Okay.
Similar to the NFL and how you know your team's roadmap to the playoff.
Sure.
But this is where my head goes, is there's two teams that I look at that their fan bases have an expectation that they go to the championship game, and we will not see them play each other in the championship game, and that's Ohio State and Georgia. Those are the only two teams in the college football playoff that their fans have a genuine expectation every year they should be in the championship game.
Yeah, I think Bama expects to as well. I would add Bama, but that would cap it right there at 3.
Yeah.
And obviously Bama, they don't expect to win it now, but going into the season, I would say they definitely expected to win it all. Big Loft says definitely DeBoer, my guy. What's up, buddy? It's year 2 at Alabama, and you're yet to win a playoff game. That is inexcusable, 100%. Correct. So, DeBoer's on. And it's crazy that we continue to get rumors about DeBoer to Penn State before Matt Campbell was hired, which, if you're me, I just thought that was a ploy from his agent, Jimmy Sexton, like it kind of always is, to get a little bit more money. Go ahead and get that extension done at Bama. Oh, he could be going to Penn State. Let's go ahead and lock it in a couple more $1 million in Tuscaloosa. And it very well could have been. But then his name resurfaces for Michigan, and every single week this guy answers questions about wanting to beat Alabama or not, and always says that he wants to be there. Now, it was interesting that he put out a statement earlier this week. It's gotten that bad, questions-wise in Tuscaloosa, of whether he'll stay or whether it's almost like Bama fans wouldn't mind if he went and left.
That's where I was going.
They really, I don't think they would mind. Which to that I would say, hey, like, come on, man. Like, I think we gotta the guy. For anybody, there are Bama fans out there right now that believe that he can't handle the pressure or he doesn't want the pressure. Hey, if the guy didn't want the pressure, he wouldn't voluntarily have followed the literal GOAT of a head coach. Yeah, I don't like pressure, but I'm going to follow Nick Saban. Huh?
Doesn't make sense.
Of course not. He doesn't. The pressure's fine. So don't give me that crap at all. Now, there's pressure on him. But the question here is whether he minds it or not, or if it bothers him. It doesn't bother him. Or when he would have stayed at Washington, where he could have literally carried out a lifetime contract, and gone to the playoff. Well, in that structure,
gotten a statue.
Yeah, you kidding me,
Jason? I don't know. I've not heard this thought, theory, whatever. But I love a good theory around college football coaches.
Let's hear more.
They want. Based off all the questions they're asking, based off the Alabama fans that I know, they're talking about DeBoer just kind of needs to find his way out because, I mean, I'd feel the same way. They have been spoiled.
Yes. I
mean, I was spoiled with Bobby Bowden growing up.
Of course.
Spoiled. 9-win season minimums every year.
Right.
Right? They were spoiled with Nick Saban.
Of course.
And then you get, Kalen DeBoer, which, good coach, but we all know the main reason he got that job is because the recency, a little bit of a recency bias going into that season. What I think that a lot of Alabama fans want is DeBoer gone and Cignetti in. Because Cignetti is probably the only coach in college football that could even come close to replacing the GOAT, or come close to following his steps. You could not replace him. But I think Alabama fans know that DeBoer is not going to be the coach that gets the field named after him again.
Yeah, I agree. And Big Love in the chat hops back in and says, imagine how different Alabama would be today if they picked Norvell as their coach to follow Saban. Holy cow, that'd be awesome. And they almost did. We almost, I mean, what a time.
Said we priced him in, and now we can't afford to buy him out.
Joke's on y'all, man. Joke's on y'all. All right, let's pull up that bracket.
I got you.
So here's what we got. Obviously, James Madison in Oregon tomorrow. Fully expect Oregon to win that game by 30 points, but expect James Madison to score a little bit in that one. So give me like a 41-20 type ball game right there. Ole Miss, they play Tulane, obviously. in the first month of the season, a couple of months back. They beat them 45-10, I believe it was. I think it was a 35-point difference in that game. Lane Kiffin, obviously not there. Lane Kiffin is not a 35-point difference. Give me Ole Miss big in that one as well. And then Miami, Texas A&M. What Carson Beck are we going to get? I don't know. There are still times, guys, where he plays like the best quarterback in the country. Those times existed this year. They did. There are also times where he looks like he has not learned anything from his times at Georgia, where nothing changed then. There were times at Georgia he looked like the number one overall prospect, and other times where he threw 3 picks and didn't look like he knew what he was looking at. It was the go situation. So I don't know what Carson Beck we're going to get. It's interesting enough, at A&M, you have Marcel Reed, who almost all year looked like he might be a Heisman contender. And then against Texas, he collapses, at least in the first half. We collapsed against South Carolina first half, and then comes back to those freaking seem like 10 touchdowns in 2 minutes. And they come back and win that football game. And then obviously a Texas good defense, but they fall short in that one. That's their only L. Will they avenge that? I seem to think that I'm rolling with the Aggies here by a decent margin. Not like 20 points, but I think this is going to be a comfortable, extremely comfortable 10-point win for A&M. They will capitalize off of a Miami turnover or 2. And I think, look, a team that's proven they can beat good teams, and they have one slip up, and it costs them not only a bye, but it also just costs them a chance to be in the SEC championship. I gotta believe that they're pissed, and I'm not to say that Miami's not going to be motivated, but Miami's almost lucky to be in this thing, and I thought Miami should be in. So don't hear me wrong that I thought they lucked out necessarily, but if you're on the fence and you make it in, there's a little bit of a sigh of relief. There's a little bit of a satisfaction from Cristobal. Oh, thank goodness we got in. Does that play itself out when you actually meet on the field? I don't know. I'm not going to say they're going to be complacent by any means, but I'm going to say right now that A&M's the hungrier team, and I think that matters. As far as tonight goes, I'm really looking forward to this one. I will be at Nights of Lights, so pray for me. We'll have to see how much phone time I can squeak into this baby, because it's an 8 o'clock kick, and we're supposed to get down to St. Augustine. Love them. Love the place. Love the experience. Not going to love it tonight. So, again, keep me in mind. But I've got Oklahoma in this ballgame. If you can't run the rock and you're one-dimensional against an Oklahoma team that has time to prepare, a Venables defense that's had time to prepare, you're going to get cooked. I've got this as like a 2016 ballgame. It's not going to be dominant by any means, but you will see dominance from Oklahoma's defense tonight. The question is whether that's going to be just for a half, and then Alabama makes adjustments and comes back with a late score to win the game, or they don't make adjustments like they did not against Georgia, and they end up with 10 points in the game. That's it right there for me. Other than that, look, you're not going to believe me, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But I do 100% wholeheartedly believe that Georgia is going to win the national championship this year. They are by far the most battle-tested team. They are by far the team that can win in a myriad of ways that a lot of these teams cannot win. You want to get in a rock fight with Georgia? They'll beat you in a rock fight. You want to get in a shootout with Georgia? A barn burner? They'll beat you in a barn burner. No defense, I think, has gotten better in the last 6 weeks than Georgia's defense. And if Gunnar Stockton is clicking, you're not beating Georgia. And if you come out strong and you're up 10 points at half, so what? So what? If you got to go through a gauntlet, this is a gauntlet, and if I got to choose one team that's going to make it through the gauntlet, it's not what team is going to be best on that one day. Is Indiana, on paper, more talented? I don't know. They're certainly not more talented, excuse me, but just hotter team, best 1 through 100 on their roster, at least the way that they're fitting the scheme right now, and confidence-wise and all that, maybe. There's not a team on this screen that I would pick to beat Georgia right now. And if we got to go battle-tested, if we can't have a lapse, right? Because in a tournament like this, where you're playing week after week, you're going to have to win 3 games. I was assuming that the winner is one of the top 4 teams. That's what I'm assuming. You got to win 3 straight games. That means you can't have a bad quarter. And if you do, you've got to have proven that you can rebound real quickly. There's only one team, in my opinion, that has done that more than any other, and it's Georgia. So give me the Dogs. Give me the Dogs over Indiana in the national championship. I've got A&M. I've got Ole Miss. I've got Oklahoma. And Oklahoma might surprise Indiana. I'll say that right now. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Oklahoma finds their way into the Final Four of this baby. I wouldn't. And I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon beats Texas Tech either. We might have an Oklahoma-Oregon semifinal. And Georgia-Ohio State in the other half. And we'll see you in the ship. But I think this is the Dogs' year. Again, I think the quarterback has proven over and over that he's going to step up in the big-time moment. How many fourth downs did he convert this year with a game on the line? With an SEC championship berth on the line? With a potential season on the line? Multiple times. And give me the head coach that has experience. Does Indiana's head coach have experience in a playoff format like this? One game last year and a first-round exit? That don't count. I don't count. What about Texas Tech? Nope. Not a single player on their roster.
Signetti's got the 32-round FCS, but that's it.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. Give me the battle-tested team and the most experienced coach. That's Georgia. So give me them. Real quick before we get out of here. Non-playoff related. Texas hires Coach Muschamp to be their defensive coordinator. And I think that's really important. So obviously Muschamp was a huge part of Georgia's defenses when they won the national title, 21-22. He served as the co-defensive coordinator with Lanning and then with Schumann. Schumann is still there. And then took more of an analyst role in 2024, last year. And then this year really wanted to watch his son, who was a backup quarterback at Vanderbilt. And I guess he was kind of an analyst, but really stepped away. Not sure how much of a role he played. Kirby Smart was asked about it even preseason and didn't really comment on it. So who knows? But by choice was not the defensive coordinator. This guy is amazing, I think, coaching defense. And this is almost a head-scratcher for Texas. They're scratching their heads because they liked their defensive coordinator this last year. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but they had one of their best defenses in recent memory this year. Trust me, Texas, Muschamp is an upgrade. He is that good. So it's crushing. I think if you're Georgia, you really will miss him. And you were hoping that when his son graduated from Vanderbilt that he would have come back full-time at least as a position coach or an analyst in Georgia's room. Not that they have any lack. By the way, Mark Stoops, come on down to Athens as another defensive analyst now that you're gone from Kentucky. That's a side note. But you really wanted Muschamp back if you're Georgia. Now the fact that he is now the DC in Texas, and by the way, he's probably going to be the highest paid coordinator in college football, like $4 million type, I think. Is what's floating out there right now. We'll see. But this is a huge win for the Longhorns, I think, and expect their defense to be now top 10 in the SEC, or excuse me, in the country every single year. Michael Parks 1260. The way you explain it sounds like it's rigged. Explain how. I would love to explain it further if that's the case. But I don't know how he would be going to Texas would mean it sounds rigged. But nonetheless, fire it at me in the chat, and I might hit you back on Twitter if you're on Twitter or whatever. But that's an interesting thought I'd love to get to. But yeah. All right, hey, playoff time. Whether you want it to be 4, 8, 12, BCS, like me. Let's enjoy this one. We got a month left. Regardless of all of the silly bleep that the ACC wants to do and that college football wants to do, this is still the best sport on the planet. So let's lock in and enjoy this playoff. Even if you're at the Night of Lights like me, we're still going to be locking in. We appreciate you. Hope you have a great Christmas. We will not be having a show next week. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for hopping in. Enjoy it. We'll see you next time on Stadium Pulse. Have a good Friday, everybody.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com. Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it. Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Tony Mazzio, Stanwood High School, class of 2002.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oak Leaf High School.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Shacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.